Megan Fox.
Yeah, Megan Fox has the story.
Megan Fox.
Megan Fox.
Megan Fox writes at PJ Media.
Eat Tucker.
And that was your last.
Damn it, man. I cried for 2 days.
Megan, thank you very much for that.
So, I can explain the bed thing.
If you don't show up and vote, up your ass. I don't care if you're in the hospital. Crawl to the stake. Crawl there.
It's like Jesus going to the temple. He's like, I got a whip. Get out! Get out! The lovely and wonderful Megan Fox. Not that one.
Not that one. Not the weird one that drinks blood in his toe thumbs.
Megan Fox.
Megan. And honestly, Megan, if you don't like it, I'm sorry.
She's the devil.
Megan.
Megan Fox.
Megan.
Megan Fox.
I've been very nice to you, although I could probably maybe not be based on the way you have treated me, but I wouldn't do that.
You've never met a like me. You want to tangle? You want to go? Holy sh!
Too much cussing on this. I guess we didn't bleep it, so we got to turn it off. But it's.
You pissed off the wrong woman.
Oh my God! I have been assaulted, but Megan Fox runs wild on you, brother.
She's the devil.
Not for publication.
The story.
I'm Megan Fox. Thank you. Cheers.
Hey guys, it's a jammy stream. Are you ready for this? I am back. I'm back and I'm in my jammies. I was feeling kind of luxurious this evening. I got done with a double shift at work and I need to come home, get in a shower, tie my hair back, and get in my vintage Victoria's Secret robe that my grandma bought for me in 1994 for a graduation present when I graduated high school. Isn't it lovely? It's perfect for fall. It matches my nails. And it also matches my drink. What am I drinking tonight? I am drinking a High West Manhattan that's already, it's barrel finished. It's already mixed. You just have to open it, pour it over ice, and that's all I have the energy for right now because I'm tired. But the prednisone that I'm on for the sinus infection is messing with my sleep cycle. So I'm not going to be able to sleep for a while, so I might as well watch part 2 where we left off of the Maya Kowalski trial. I'm also very dehydrated today. So I got my ice water here too. All right. I'm still so... I hate sinus infections. They're the worst. All right. I am streaming on Rumble. I'm streaming on YouTube. I'm streaming on Locals, everywhere, and Facebook, I think, simultaneously. Let us get to where we left off, which I have to pull up and I didn't get that ready. Oh, well. Shade Chaser on Rumble, thanks for being here, by the way, says this trial is just making me hate hospitals, doctors, and CPS even more. Yeah, even more than we usually do. Sorry, I think my mic's turned up too loud. Let me try and fix it. All right. Yeah, no kidding. And I mean, I feel like I hope that this trial will reflect the nation's, what's the word I'm looking for? I want to say that we're sick of it, but that's not the word I'm looking for. The nation's impatience, maybe, with the medical tyranny that we've been facing lately. You know, ever since the thing we can't mention on YouTube. And by the way, YouTube is asshole. The sign is still behind me for demonetizing me, and let me, of course, put up the Marby Dog. It's whiskey. I'm drinking a Manhattan pre-mixed High West from Park City, Utah. High West Manhattan barrel finished cocktail. These are great. Absolutely great. All you have to do is pour it over rocks. What was I saying? It's late. I've worked a double and I'm really tired. I forgot what I was saying. Doesn't matter. All right. I got to go and find where we left off. Where we left off was not Gregory. Who was the witness? The witness was the neighbor. I wrote his name down. I think it was Brandon Woodward. I think that's who we're listening to. Brandon, I think he's the current witness. And we didn't get very far into his testimony, so we're just going to go as long as I can go before I want to go to sleep, before I want to crawl into bed and just go to sleep. So that's what we're going to do. Let's go to YouTube. And my history, and then we're going to pull up today's trial. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, I think this was it. Was this day 2? Yeah. We're on day 2. And this guy is on. How many hours did this go today? Oh, it went almost 7 hours. I don't remember exactly where in his. We're definitely not going to do 7 hours today, but I'm going to try and we're going to speed it up a little, and we are going to skip over the breaks and stuff, and hopefully we'll get a little further than we were. By the way, if you're here, hit that like button and subscribe. If you're on YouTube, do that. If you're on Locals, make sure that you share with your friends, share the link. If you're on Rumble, hit the thumbs up. And get on over to my Locals channel, meganfox.locals.com, and follow me there, or you're never going to get the notifications. If you guys are like, hey, you know, I've been subscribed to you. It happens every time I stream. If you've been subscribed to me on YouTube and you don't get my notifications, that's them. Even if you've signed up for the bell and you've hit the thing, it's not going to send you a notification when I stream. Maybe like 1 time out of 10 will it send you a notification. So please go to meganfox.locals.com. Follow me there for free. You'll get all the notifications of when I'm going live. They will be posted there. And then you can find me at any of the platforms, Rumble, YouTube, Locals. I'm streaming on Locals for free right now. You can watch over there, but you can't chat unless you're a subscriber. And you can use my promo code SQUATS and get a discount for a yearly membership. You can use promo code AJLT for a discount on a monthly membership, which is only $5 a month. And now we're going to go over to the trial and pick up where we left off. And I'm not exactly sure where because it was live when I paused it and it didn't save. But we're going to figure it out. Okay, so hang on here. PH Joy says, I'm in the mood for your kind of company. Well, I'm in the mood for your kind of company too. How you doing over there, Locals? My ride or die folks, are you there? Are you in the chat? I don't know if I see anybody on Locals tonight. Are they all sleeping? Are you all sleeping on Locals? I can't believe it. I think they might be sleeping. I'm not seeing anybody in the chat right now. That's the first time. They're not used to me streaming this late. Gosh, I hope it's working. Is it working? If somebody's on Locals, chat me and let me know if it's working because I can't tell. All right, let's try and see where we were at. I don't think we got very far into this.
It's called the Nextdoor app. A lot of people used to send out information.
Do you remember when the Kowalskis moved down? 2014?
Yes.
How long did it take before you got to know them?
Days, probably. Jack, the whole family was always outside. Jack.
I think we heard this part.
And that is, Kelly, can you identify the specific line? There you are. Okay.
Let's get it into evidence first.
Yes. Sorry, Judge. Move to admit trial exhibit 2528-1.29. Photograph dated July 3rd, 2015 in the neighborhood bike parade.
Okay. What receives that exhibit?
I think, did we see the neighborhood bike ride?
And may we publish?
Yeah, we see. Did we hear him talk about this? I don't remember.
On the bike in the middle, that's Maya.
Yes, we did.
Okay. And approximately what time of day?
All right, we're going to
was
skip
it,
forward.
uh,
We heard this part.
video of a homecoming? And are you objecting to this, counsel?
All right, I remember they were
7:10,
arguing about video of a homecoming.
Then they showed us 7 photographs of the homecoming.
Yeah, we saw this.
Mark is number 2788, and that is simply for demonstrative aid. It is not being moved into evidence.
No objection.
So, what perhaps would be easiest when we bring the jury back in, what is the video number again?
It is 2692.
So what I'll
No,
do,
it's not, Your Honor. It's 27.
And that's the homecoming video.
Is the bike parade we just.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought he was talking about the video.
I'm sorry, the one that I just watched, of all the kids on the bikes.
Okay.
So what number is that?
That is 2692.
What I will do is I will admit that document, or sorry, that video into evidence. Then why don't I ask for any other agreed exhibits so you can announce all of the ones that are agreed to, so we don't have to keep doing that every time.
Agreed, Your Honor.
So what are the numbers that are agreed to? Let's make sure everyone agrees.
All right. So we have 2692, court ruled. We have 2582-002 and 003. We have then homecoming video 2710, which has been agreed to. And I think that, and previously marked into evidence was the bike parade photos from 2015. The video is from 2016.
So,
but
Right.
I have some predicate before
I
that.
don't want to listen to him argue
I
about
didn't follow the last 2, Your Honor.
neither did I.
this. We'll get to the
All I'm
back to the
asking are what are the
testimony.
numbers that are agreed to?
This is where we
All I
left
wanna
off.
hear.
A lot of things for me.
Evidence exhibit 2692, Mr. Anderson.
Also move into evidence 2582-002, 2582-003, and 2710.
Any objection?
No objection.
Okay, court receives 2582-002, 2582-003, and 2710. You may continue, Mr. Anderson.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now, we had, I believe, just shown you this photo of the neighborhood bike parade with Kyle and his beard. Did something happen? Let's strike that. Before we get into that, tell us about Jack Kowalski from your perspective as a neighbor. What kind of man is he?
You probably couldn't ask for a better neighbor. Yeah. So I think if you asked him for the Jack, I just need the shirt off your back, he'd probably give it, no questions asked. But he's done a lot of things for me, a lot of things for a lot of neighbors. Just well, I think that's kind of how he kicked off his painting business, not business, but helping people paint their houses, interior, exterior. Somebody would see him doing work at somebody's house and they'd ask, "Hey, I need help doing this," especially a lot of older neighbors. But always willing to help out, always around to help out.
Would you describe Jack as somebody that wears his heart on his shoulder or is more quiet and stoic?
Oh, we heard this part. Heart on the shoulder, heart on the sleeve. Sorry, guys. It's hard to find the spot where I left off on a
Does it
live
sound like
stream.
a child or sound like a animal?
It sounded like a kid. I almost thought it was a kid trying to make a terrifying noise. And I kind of chuckled like, what is that? And then I realized the look on these other.
Yeah, that was the
faces
day
was-
she got sick.
And
We
so
heard
did there
that.
come a time when you saw or understood that the Kowalskis were leaving for Mexico for
Yes.
treatment?
Yeah. So
Here's where we're.
I can't remember the exact timeline. A little bit later in the year, they had a doctor that was helping Maya. They were very hopeful. My wife actually went over to see her the day before they flew out.
Mm-hmm. They gone for a while.
I want to say it was a full week.
Okay. All right.
From what I remember.
All right. And then once they came back, did you have an opportunity to periodically, on a regular basis, see Maya over the course of the spring of 2016?
Yes, often.
Tell the jury about what, if anything, you noticed about her condition.
She seemed to be getting better, and in my opinion, just looking in, not knowing all the details, this one treatment she went and had, I thought that was it. The one treatment, one and done, and she's on the mend and better.
But still in a wheelchair.
Still in a wheelchair, but
overall physical
Strength
health?
getting better. She liked to get in the pool. I believe they put in solar just to keep the pool water warmer and more comfortable so she could keep getting strength back in legs.
Got it. Okay. And so then through the course of that year, did there come a time when you had another July 4th parade in 2016?
Every year we have them, yes.
And was that filmed?
Yes.
And with the court's permission, then we would publish the video from 2692 in evidence. Now, if you could narrate a little bit here.
So this looks like the very start of the parade. That's Jack kneeling down in the black and white shirt taking pictures.
This is the neighborhood?
This is the neighborhood. That's actually my house straight in the middle.
Okay.
Maya's driving the golf cart right in the middle.
Okay, let's come forward.
Our other mutual friend is riding in the passengers up front.
Okay. Now Maya's able to sit up there?
Yeah, she drove the golf cart all the way around.
So
she couldn't ride the bike this year. So our friend Pat, that was, I believe, his a golf cart he got from work. So he brought that just so Maya could be a part and drive it around.
So she was strong enough by July to press down on the pedal there in the golf cart pedal?
Yes.
What if anything?
Hold on a second. What's the legal basis?
Lack of knowledge.
From what you observed, was she able to press down on the pedal?
Yes.
Golf cart. Keep going, please. All right. These are neighbors?
Some more neighbors. That's my daughter right there. More neighbors in the back.
And
this is me in the gray shirt coming up. That's my real little daughter. I'm walking behind right there.
Jack's discovering humidity. Is this the Kowalski's house?
No.
Okay. Where's the Kowalski's house from here?
From this image, it's, hold on. Go straight down to your right. It's out of frame, but right to the right.
Okay. Similar to these?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. So now after this, when was the next time that you remember something happening with Maya? Did she continue to be around the neighborhood or did she disappear again?
I don't know. We see her often. A lot of the neighborhood get-togethers kind of filtered more back to Jack's house, though, because for Maya to go anywhere, it was wheelchair. But, yeah, we see her often.
In the fall then of 2016, did there come a time when Maya again left to go to the hospital, in this case, Johns Hopkins?
Yes.
All right. And were you there and around the time when she was going off to the hospital?
Yes.
Was there any weather event that was causing, or that not causing, but a weather event around that time that you recall?
I don't recall.
All right. Hurricane Matthew, do you recall when that came through?
I do, kind of.
They're going together.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Okay. So when was the next time that you really recall seeing Maya?
I don't recall seeing her until after she came home from the several-month hospital.
Okay, so would this have been into the new year then, into January?
So my youngest daughter, her birthday's December 28th. We had a birthday party for her after New Year's. So it was right after that, early January.
Okay. And then was there any type of reception or thing that went on for Maya, to the best of your knowledge?
Yeah, so there was I think everybody that lived in the neighborhood, they knew when she was coming back. A lot of people made signs and banners, especially the kids.
Let me show you, if we could, 2582, is it 002 or 32? That's the vote. All right. So is that the photo of the reception?
So this is right at the entrance of the neighborhood, and yep, that's right when they pulled in.
Okay, and then 0032582 if we may publish. And what is this?
Welcome home sign.
Okay, and then we previously shown you, but with permission, Judge, we would like to publish 2710, if you could.
Yes.
Thank you.
Say, Maya, we are so excited to see you. So thankful you're home.
Oh, Shopkins. My kids were so into Shopkins. I had boxes and boxes of Shopkins. I wonder if they still have them. My girls used to love those Shopkins. Those tiny
now,
little creatures.
After this, were you there
cute.
when they tried to get Maya out of the car?
Yes.
Tell the jury about that.
Well, that day and many after, she couldn't. She had no strength. There was pretty much no muscle to her legs. Jack had to pick her up and put her in a wheelchair and push her around, pick her up to move her anywhere or anything, not just in and out of the car.
Was she able to keep herself upright without people holding her, hugging her, or otherwise?
No, not really. I remember when she would sit on the couch, you had to put pillows on both sides of her too.
All right. Compared to when you had last seen her leaving for the hospital to the time that you saw her, can you, the time you last saw her leaving to go to Johns Hopkins to the time, this time right here, the homecoming, can you describe to the jury the change, if any, in Maya?
The only word that really comes to my mind is emaciated. So I was over their house a lot. Like I said, especially after she came home from the hospital, hopping from house to house was a bit more of a challenge. So I think Jack was happy to have some company in his house too. So I saw a lot of Maya. Very, very thin. Like I said, no muscle mass in her legs at all. No color. No strength to her arms. She couldn't do anything.
What was your? Go ahead.
I remember her texting from her bedroom to Jack if we were in the kitchen. That's how she get a hold of him. Hey, I need help moving or going to the shower, bathroom, whatever. Jack literally had to go physically pick her up and do everything with her.
So you didn't see any improvement whatsoever when she got back?
No.
Did she go get better or get worse from Johns Hopkins?
Definitively worse.
And so, what, if anything, crossed your mind about how, given what you were seeing, this child's future be held physically?
Sorry, ask the question again?
Sure. From her condition, right, when she came home, what, if any concerns did you have about Maya's future physically?
That was a long road. So when she first went and got the first treatment in Mexico and came back, like I said, my personal opinion of not knowing any details of the treatment or her, what the disease was, I had this impression it was this one and done, and she's better because she was getting better so much quicker, getting strength back and getting back to normal. When she came home from the hospital, I can't tell you a set time, but I just remember it was such a long road for her to be able to do anything physically. Months and months.
And did there come a time when you saw her graduating from a wheelchair then to crutches?
Yes.
And was that a significant period of time?
All driven by Maya. I remember Jack saying she's bound and determined to not only walk again, but I think she wanted to ice skate. And I thought maybe there's something else she wanted to do physically, like, I don't know, gymnastics or something. But hard work by Maya.
Mm-hmm. And then eventually, was there another period of time when Maya began to try to graduate from the crutches to walking?
Yes. I mean, that was always the goal for her. She had her sights set on getting totally back to normal. So.
And was Maya the type of child that would instantly tell you if she was hurting, or was she quiet about something?
I never heard her complain about anything.
No matter what?
Never.
Okay. And let's talk a little bit about Beata over this period of time from when Maya went off to Johns Hopkins until the end there. Were you seeing the Kowalskis, that being, I guess it would be Kyle and Beata and Jack, over that period of time, the fall of 2016, while Maya was gone?
Yes.
How often did you see them?
Same deal. I think Jack was outside even more if he wasn't doing something, working on, trying to get Maya, just occupying his brain.
Mm-hmm.
So still a lot.
What was the effect on Beata as time went on?
Absolute crushing stress. Mm-hmm. The whole family.
Was there a change in her personality from what you saw?
She became a lot more reserved, at least, for me.
Was she becoming more withdrawn?
Yes.
Did she have the same sense of humor that you had?
No, completely gone.
And between Jack and Beata, first, how often were you seeing them in any social mode? As much or more or less?
No, not as much. We all knew this was going on, where, again, this crushing stress thing of trying to get their kid back. So, it wasn't.
Were you there?
A lot of us felt odd saying, "Hey, let's go party." That wasn't happening.
As a couple, were they more withdrawn?
Yes.
And at least in front of you, I don't know if you saw this or not, but did there appear to be any stress there, or either individually or collectively?
I can't really speak to that. All I can tell you is, again, the best way for me to describe it is just this crushing stress on the family and the household. Whether there was additional between Jack, Kyle, Jack, Beata, or whatever, I can't specifically say.
Well, was there any particular event where you recall seeing either on a holiday or just regular weekend event or something where you saw something that indicated to you just how bad it was?
Yes. We had a New Year's party with a couple of those houses with a couple of neighbors that were previously mentioned we're really tight with. So the next door neighbor to Jack had just a handful of couples over for New Year's Eve, and at midnight when the bell dropped, Beata just broke down, completely broke down.
Describe it for us a little bit. What was she doing, and then how did it come
well,
about?
you know, the ball drops, usually kiss your spouse or say Happy New Year, and she lost it. Just started crying. All the other females tried to console her.
Mm-hmm. And so that was not such a good movie for you. Now, Kyle, as long as you have known him, has he been a bodybuilder type or more on the thin side?
Always.
Great.
Oh, the
And
paper shuffling is killing me.
there was an allegation about malnourishment or some idea that these children were not being properly fed or kept. Can you tell?
To the commentary by the attorney.
Sustained.
Tell the jury about how Jack and Beata took care of these kids in terms of feeding them, taking care of them, making sure they had exercise, making sure they were always provided for.
Well, when we go to the bus stop in the morning, on the walk back, my kid would always run into Jack's house because he had always had good snacks in the cupboard, and he'd always have extras to share. So the cupboard was always fully loaded. So my kids would steal little snacks from Kyle, and I guess Maya, she ate them too. But Kyle was always outside. I think he's still outside all the time. Other boys in the neighborhood, they play football, baseball together, but always doing something physical. And when they were little, I actually remember, I'd be in Jack's driveway talking to him, and they'd be playing football and picking teams. And I distinctly remember kids always wanting Kyle on their team because he was one of the better ones. You'd win if you had Kyle on your team.
Now, do you remember the night that Beata died?
Yes.
Was there any event that reminds you of that night?
So my youngest daughter's birthday is December 28th. Kids are out of school. They go out of town for Christmas and New Year's, so we always have to have her birthday party in January. So we have her birthday in January when there's actual kids that can come. We have the same group of friends from neighbors come over. And Jack and Kyle came that night, but Beata did not.
Okay. Anybody asking where she was or any excuses or anything?
Yeah, we asked, and didn't feel good or headache, and she sent a gift. She went out and bought a gift for my daughter and sent a gift.
Okay. And what was the next thing you knew or saw or heard about Beata?
On Sunday, that was a Saturday night. Sunday mornings, I'd wake up, go out and get breakfast for my wife and kids early, and on the drive back in, when I left, everything was normal. When I drove back into the neighborhood, there was, 10, 12, 15 police cars at Jack's house with EMTs.
Did you go in?
I did not go in the house. Jack was outside in the driveway.
Did you see Jack?
Yes.
What was his condition?
Distraught, crying.
Mm-hmm. All right. How long were the police cars there? Do you recall? A long time.
Hours, many hours. I got out, gave him a hug, told him if you need anything, call me, and then
Did you see Kyle?
I did not see Kyle.
He had gone by that point and taken her.
I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't sure if he was in the house or if he left.
Now we've gone over the reunion party, but can you tell us a little bit about what it's been like for Jack first? We'll strike that. Did you see Jack very much immediately after, in the period immediately after Beata passed?
Yes, still saw him a bunch.
Tell us about that.
It was more just trying to console a friend.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to intrude, but you want them, you want someone to know you're there.
Yeah. And was he striking? Have you noticed any changes in Jack afterwards in terms of his, not so much about taking care of the kids, but just he himself and his enjoyment of life or his activities?
Yeah, the whole family.
Tell us about it.
Well, I don't know how to put that into words. Just completely life changing. Just things are different. The whole family's just great, super caring family, but something just happened where it's just different now. They're still great people, but.
And so you're still good friends.
Yes.
You're still will have some of his wine.
Still do.
And I understand there's controversy about his wine, though.
I think it's just with you.
I'm the only one that doesn't like
Yes.
Jack's wine, so that's better. In any event, To this day, though, is there still a change in Jack from what you knew before?
Yes, but like I said, it's difficult to put into words. If you've ever watched, I mean, the family's changed.
Mm-hmm. And do you see Maya or Kyle as much anymore?
See Kyle often when he's washing his boat after he goes fishing.
Mm-hmm.
So he's still outside, but he's not playing football in the front yard anymore.
Okay.
Maya
Jack
babysits our
activity
kids. She's been doing that for a couple of years.
Okay. And does Jack come around as much on the social scene, or is he?
Yeah, we still hang out a lot.
Try to keep him going.
Yep.
All right.
This paper origami ASMR bullshit, I can't handle it. Who is doing it?
I just have a few
Ah,
questions.
my
It sounds like
ears.
you've known the Kowalskis for a long time, and you're a really good supportive friend, or at least you try to be. Is that fair?
Yes.
I just want to draw your attention back to the July 3rd, 2015 incident at the house that you talked about.
Okay.
Okay. We're on the same page. Okay.
Yes.
My understanding from what you've said is that you didn't actually see anything happen to Maya, correct?
Correct.
Oh no! I just hit the damn thing when I meant to hit pause. Oh, right. We can get to the cross. Hold on. All right, I was going to stop it because the reason I was pausing was because this woman, I had the meanest thought that just came to my head, but I have to say it out loud. When I saw the attorney cross-examining her, this woman, who here has seen Uncle Buck?
Yeah, we still hang out a lot.
Try to keep him
Do
going.
you remember the part
fair?
When I first
where he goes to the mean high school principal?
walked in the house, yes.
And
when you actually heard the noise that you described, you didn't know that it was.
Wait, I gotta back up to where she is.
Morning, sir.
Here she is.
I just have a few questions. It sounds like you've known the Kowalskis for a long time, and you're a really good supportive friend, or at least you try to be. Is that fair?
Yes.
Hold on.
I just want to draw.
All right. So Uncle Buck walks into the principal's office and he throws a quarter on her desk for being mean to his niece and nephew or whatever. He throws a quarter on her desk and he goes, "And here, take this downtown and get a rat to gnaw that thing off your face." She had a big mole on her face. I'm sorry. I know it's mean, but this woman represents Johns Hopkins that kidnapped a kid and drove her mother to suicide. So I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry that that's the first thing that came to my mind.
Draw your attention back to the July 3rd, 2015 incident at the house that you talked about.
Okay.
Okay. We're on the same page. Okay.
Yes.
My understanding from what you've said is that you didn't actually see anything happen to Maya, correct?
Correct.
And in fact, at the time you heard this noise you described, you didn't even know it was Maya. Is that fair?
When I first walked in the house, yes.
When you actually heard the noise that you described, you didn't know that it was Maya. Is that correct?
No, I after about 10 seconds, quickly put it together that it
Tammy,
wasn't
I'm
mine. When I
you
first
did.
walked in the house, I just thought it was some random kids just making some god awful noise.
Oh, I misheard. I thought you said you figured it was one of Jack's kids, but I didn't know that you had determined that it was Maya.
Whether it was within 10 seconds or 30 seconds, or yes, but the other parents and adults there, as they were filtering out, yes, it was very quickly realizing it was Maya.
Okay. All right. But as far as what you know, you didn't know of anything physical that had occurred to cause that noise, correct? And as far as it could have been a panic attack for all you know from what you've heard. Is that fair?
I wouldn't classify it that way, but
Okay.
I'd say no.
Can we agree that you don't know what caused
Absolutely.
her to have that,
Yes.
to make that noise? Is
Yes.
that fair?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I want to focus on the time frame. So just to put us on the same page, Maya's admission to Johns Hopkins Children's was October of 2016.
We're just going to call her Ms. Mole, I think. This is because I'm not going to be able to stop looking at it.
Okay. My understanding is that you were aware that they had gone for some treatment back in November of 2015.
I don't remember the exact times
Okay.
and dates, but
But you remember them going somewhere for treatment?
yes.
And I think I heard you say you figured it was going to be one and done. They were going to do that treatment, and then that was going to take care of everything.
I think it was after the fact when we saw her, what was to me being perceived as much better than before she went. I just thought, oh, this is a big, expensive one and done treatment, and this helps clear up whatever it was.
Okay. All right. So are you aware of all of the treatment that she was getting between, let's say, December of 2015 and October of 2016?
Very minimally. So not in detail, no.
Your knowledge is very minimal, is that what you're
Correct.
saying? Okay. And can you describe what Maya's condition was in the weeks leading up to going to Johns Hopkins?
Before she went in? Right before, you mean?
Yes, sir.
Oh my God.
She seemed to be getting better and recovering, getting stronger. Specifically, like what I can really speak to is strength in her
I have
legs.
to get
Because
this
she was,
comment
I
up here.
distinctly remember her crawling around, using her arms to get around. Something about legs, putting pressure on legs or using legs either hurts. So there was this avoidance of using legs.
Okay. So is it correct, though, that she never walked again between December of 2015 and entering into Johns Hopkins?
I don't recall.
You don't recall one way or the
one
other?
way or the other.
Okay. Do you have any knowledge, sir, about what Maya's condition was, or on the day before she went into Johns Hopkins?
No, I don't recall specifically.
Crazy Warlock, you're killing me. On Rumble.
Now, since,
Thank you for that.
Maya's been discharged.
Was
and
Miss
been
Mole
home
in the
and
hospital
leading
with
to
the
today,
syringe?
You certainly have noticed that Maya's been able to participate in ice skating. Are you aware of that?
Yes.
Okay. And other activities, correct?
I knew she did ice skating.
Is that the only thing you're aware of?
Yes.
Are you aware of how good she's doing in school?
Everybody's aware of that.
Okay. All right. 1 minute, please.
But you, so far, I haven't had any contact.
Hold on a second.
I'm sorry, I'm done.
No further questions.
Sorry,
Mr. Anderson,
no questions.
sir, you can go ahead and be excused.
During these little transitions, I'm going to speed it up even more so that we don't have to.
Is your next witness short, or do we take a break?
We prefer a break, Your Honor.
Members of the jury, why don't we take our morning break? Do not discuss this case amongst yourselves. Do not do any investigation and receive no information. We'll try to keep it to a 10-minute break,
All right.
and maybe 15 minutes.
10-15 minute break. Now, somebody on Rumble told me I could use my arrow buttons to go forward. No, it's not working. I have a Mac. Arrow buttons don't work, but I can skip forward this way. All right.
Okay, I appreciate that. Now, then, I don't know if Court TV, are you tapping into the house audio for your feed, or is that you're using your own microphones?
I'm doing both. I'm sometimes listening to the house feed, or sometimes I'm also.
Oh, are they trying to figure out who's doing the paper
I might be hearing
shuffling?
And once I start to hear a little bit of whisper, I feel the house and I do
Okay. Then
because I'm
perhaps,
pressing the mute button, right? Sometimes in the back.
and just so the attorneys know that there are the buttons on, when I say our microphones, the microphones that come in the courtroom, that you should push the button if you want to have a private conversation with the others folks at your table. Anything else I can do to help you all out at this time, Court TV? Okay.
Just as long as everybody knows to hit the mute button sometimes.
Tell them about
let's
the
go ahead and do
paper.
that. It'll also make sure that your conversations are not inadvertently picked up.
Tell them about the
Broadcast
paper
nationally.
shuffling.
But if I hear them, then I go to my mics. So then they kind of.
Thank you. Mr. Whitney.
Your Honor, by agreement, we would like to admit 2530-020.
Let me ask the lawyers this, because normally my practice is whenever a document is entered to do it in front of the jury. Given the volume of exhibits, do you want to just do it interim like this way and then not worry about doing it in front of the jury? It's whatever you all want to do.
I just think with the number of photographs we're going to be discussing and everything else, it's just easier to do it outside the presence of the jury so we can have a discussion. I just think it's easier.
Happy to do it this way.
Okay, so I will not worry about introducing exhibits in front of the jury. If it happens, it's great, but if we do it on the side, that's fine as well. Okay. What's the next issue?
There are, for Counsel Kowalski, he is after this, we only anticipate this witness will take us up to about 11 o'clock. so we would start then with Kyle Kowalski. There are a number of photographs of the nature of just simply background.
Oh, we're gonna bitch about photographs again.
On the one note, and the only objection to these is cumulative. And since there've only been 4.
I don't know why the captions aren't working. It says unavailable.
Ruling at this point, cumulative.
How many photos are we talking about?
Maybe I have it going too fast for captions.
3 plus, so there's 15. To give the court some idea, Kyle and Maya playing as babies, Kyle and Maya in the pool, Kyle and Maya on a toy in front of the Venison, fishing in the backyard after Christmas.
All right, let's just get to the witness.
Big.
Sorry about that, Mr. Whitney.
Yes, I do.
Mr. Whitney.
Would you please state your name for the record?
Robert Reines.
And have you been called here to testify as Jack Kowalski's brother?
Yes, sir, I have.
Are you older or younger than Mr. Kowalski?
Younger.
By how many years?
About 5.5 years.
Where'd you grow up?
In Chicago.
How many kids were in the Kowalski family?
Well, our extended family, my mother had 8 children.
Boys, girls?
6 boys, 2 girls. But we always had more in the house. We always had a cousin or we had a foster child at one point. So big loving family.
You went to high school in Chicago?
Yes, sir, I did.
And so Jack would have graduated well ahead of you.
Yes.
And
Chicago.
what did he go to work doing?
It's my
During
hometown.
high school, we had a fire cadet program through the fire department junior and senior year. Jack did that and got into the fire service. And I eventually did the same thing. I worked as a volunteer up there.
Good
He
night,
went on
Tammy.
in his life to eventually get hired full time, and I took a different career path.
What was your career path?
I've had several, but I went into law enforcement instead of firefighting.
All right, we're going to speed him up because he's
And
going to
where
talk
were
about
you
his
law enforcement?
background.
Up in Pinellas County, Tarpon Springs, Florida.
So you ended up from Chicago down here in Florida on law enforcement?
Yes.
And what roles were you serving in your law enforcement career?
I worked as a patrol officer for under a year until I made detective, and then I worked property crimes for just under a year again, and then I went into crimes against persons, which is all the nasty stuff: the sex abuse, the child abuse, the homicide, and the crimes against persons.
So in those 5 years, you learned how to spot child abuse?
Yes, sir, I did.
And why, after 5 years, did your law enforcement career end?
Burnout, really. You do that job and you're professional and you go to work every day, and I definitely left on good terms. But you go to work every day and you do what you're supposed to do, but then you find yourself at home in the shower crying at night, and it takes a toll on you. And I had an offer at the time to go work for another company, and it was actually a little more money, and I decided that I was going to make that move.
And after you resigned from the force, did you leave Florida?
Yes, eventually. I went to work for that other company, and then in, I believe, 1997, I left Florida after my son was born.
And where'd you go?
Up to Indiana.
And what kind of work did you do up in Indiana?
We went to Indiana mainly because I had 2 stepchildren and a newborn son, and my wife had family up in Indiana, lived out in the country, and we decided that would be a better place to raise the children. So we went up there, and I worked as a butcher, which is something I've done since I was young on the side. I've always worked in butcher shops, and then also auto, marine, and airplane upholstery work, which is what my father and uncles all did. So I've always done that on the side as well.
So at this point in your life, you're living in Indiana. Is Jack still in Chicago at this point?
Yes.
And it was during this period that Jack met Beata?
Yes.
And living in Indiana, how far away were you from the Chicago area?
We're in Fort Wayne, so just a couple hours, about 2 hour drive.
So you had opportunity to regularly meet and interact with Jack and Beata together?
Yes, because my mother was still in Chicago, and I had a couple brothers up there. So we frequently visited.
What was your first impression of Beata?
I loved her. She's just she was just a wonderful person. I respected her because she was very to the point. She didn't hold any punches. She told you how she was feeling, but she was just a loving, sweet person. Loved to teach me how to make pierogies, and she was a great person.
How would you describe their relationship?
Beautiful. We, coming from a big family, my mom raised us, and we were always taught to love each other and respect each other and respect everybody. And that's why we got into careers like we did, firefighting and law enforcement, because we help each other and we help other people. And Beata was that same way. And my wife is a nurse, and those are the people we've always chose to surround ourselves with, are people like us. And I'm sorry, I don't even remember what your original question was.
That's right. So your wife was a nurse and Beata was a nurse.
Yes.
So you and Jack had that in common.
Yes.
Were you there for their wedding, Jack and Beata?
Yes, I was their best man.
And where was that?
That was in Illinois.
In Chicago?
Mm-hmm.
Do you recall what year?
Ooh, now you're really going to tug at me here. No, I don't recall exactly what year. I think it was like 2004, 2003.
Were you there when Maya was born, or around that time?
Not there when she was born, but shortly afterwards, obviously, to visit.
How did Beata strike you as a new mom?
Just, she was holding the light of her life in her hands every time you saw her. Just as proud as any mother could be.
And then Kyle came, 2 years later?
Mm-hmm.
And you're still living in Indiana as Kyle and Maya are growing up in Chicago?
Yes.
How often would you see them on a yearly basis, if you had an estimate?
Obviously all the holidays and birthdays and things like that, we get together. So probably, at least a half dozen to a dozen times a year.
And how would you describe Jack and Beata together as parents when Kyle and Maya were young in Chicago?
Just a great couple. Jack's my best friend. He found the light of his life and he was happy, and they were great together.
So as he was approaching retirement from the fire department, did he talk to you about a desire to move to Florida?
Mm-hmm.
And he beat you back to Florida, is that right?
Yeah, he did.
So they moved to Florida in around 2014. You were still doing work in Indiana in the upholstery business, aircraft upholstery business at that point? Was there a particular job that brought you down to Florida around that time?
Yeah, I had friends in Florida in the aviation business, and a friend of mine who managed business jets for people. So if somebody has a business jet, they'll typically hire a management company to take care of all the FAA paperwork and that kind of thing and maintenance. And he called me and he says, we have this jet that we manage that needs a complete upholstery job in it. And he says, I'd like you to bid on it. And I was a little shocked at first. I said, I don't live down there. And he said, bid on it. He said, it's good money. So I bid on the job, and it was worth my while to go down there and do the job. So I set up a trailer with sewing machines and everything and went down there and did the job. And that started my move to Florida because it was successful.
Where was that work? Which airport?
In Lakeland, Florida.
And were you living in Lakeland, or were you living in Venice at that time?
At that time, we had a big motorhome. So I have another brother who lives in Lakeland. So I brought the motorhome down, and I was actually living in the motorhome while I was working at the motorhome was at his house.
And did Kyle and Maya have opportunity to come over and see you in your aviation business in Lakeland?
Yes, especially Kyle.
What do you remember about that?
Kyle loved to fly. I flew back and forth every day. Well, at that time, I didn't have my plane in the early stages. But Kyle loved airplanes, and he would come out and help me. I was building a new shop, and he came and helped me build all the tables to put the sewing machines in. And, we spent a lot of time together. Just a great, happy little kid.
This guy
What's he
seems
call you,
like
by
a
the way?
cool
Scott,
uncle.
Uncle Bob.
Did Maya fly with you as well?
Yes, eventually, yeah.
She wasn't as big of a fan as Kyle.
No, I think she had a good time.
Okay. The job you mentioned that brought you down to Florida, who was the client or the customer for that job?
The owner of the jet, I remember his first name was Eduardo. They owned some banks in Mexico, but the pilot is who I dealt with, and his name was Abraham.
And I'm going to fast forward here for a moment in the timeline, because you're doing this work in the upholstery business for the pilot Abraham in 2014, 2015.
Mm-hmm.
And just for a moment, just to fast forward a couple of years, in late 2015, Maya went down to Mexico for treatment. You were aware of that?
Yes.
And can you tell the jury what the connection was there with Abraham and Maya's treatment in Mexico?
Abraham and his family lived in Monterrey, Mexico, which is where the hospital was that they were going to. He immediately, when I told him the story of what was going on, he immediately said, put me in touch with them, and I will take care of everything when they get to Mexico. Abraham and his family met them at the hospital, and they were there for him the whole time. Anything they needed in Mexico. Gave Maya a big stuffed animal bear.
Do you recall if Maya and Jack Beato were able to bring that bear back to Florida with them?
No, that's kind of a funny story because it was this big, real soft, big teddy bear, and it was too big for them to bring back on the commercial flight. So Abraham had to bring the plane back to me to finish things up, and he put the bear in the nose cone of the jet in a little storage compartment and flew the bear back up to Lakeland, Florida. And Jack and Maya came out and met us at the airport there, and we wheeled Maya up to the plane and opened the nose cone, and the bear just kind of.
It's nice to see her have a good memory.
It was just a cute moment, and a great thing for the guy to do.
Your Honor, I'd like to show Mr. Reina's what's been admitted as Exhibit 2530-020. We publish.
Yes, ma'am.
Yep, that's Maya getting her teddy bear, and that's Abraham.
So the gentleman there handing the teddy bear is Abraham?
Yes.
And Maya in the wheelchair?
Yes.
Is that his plane right there in the background?
Yes, with the hatch open on the right.
What kind of plane was it? Do you remember?
It was a Cessna Citation. Or I'm sorry, Cessna Mustang.
And this photo is January 30th, 2016. Does that sound right?
Yes.
So this was after her ketamine treatment in Mexico?
Yes.
A month or two after. That's good, thank you. All right, so I fast forward there to show the teddy bear coming back. Let's back it up a little bit. You relocate to Florida initially for this job in 2014, 2015. Did there come a time when you moved to Venice permanently?
Yeah, I think, once I started my second job, my wife worked in the surgery center up in Indiana, and we both immediately started talking about making a move to Florida. So we actually found a house in Jack's little circle. The neighborhood he lives in, it's really a unique neighborhood because all of the neighbors in there know each other and they all hang out together. And so we wanted that neighborhood, and there was one house for sale, and we came down to look at it. And the night before we got there, it went under contract. So we were a little heartbroken, but they were starting a new subdivision right across the street, and we ended up buying a spec home right inside the gate. So we were still probably less than a quarter mile from Jack, right across the street.
So Jack didn't get away from you?
No, I found him.
And so this was, if I'm tracking, is it early 2016 when you bought the house?
Yes.
And by this point, based on your observations, was Maya in pain?
After the Mexico, she was doing much better. She was greatly improving.
You had seen her before the Mexico trip?
Because I was coming down, doing the jobs on the airplanes. And even though I was in Lakeland, I would come over and visit. We would get together. But after Mexico, there was definite improvement. She was working hard to get better.
As 2016 went on, summer, it's almost a school year. Did her pain return?
Yeah.
What can you tell the jury about that?
I read Maya's face a lot, and you can tell when somebody's in pain. I have a lot of pain and neurological issues myself, and there was a day that stands out, and I think it was probably like September of 16, where we were at Jack's house, and the kids from the neighborhood, and they had been a niece or nephew there, and Kyle and Maya, and everybody was in the pool and having a good time, and Maya was on a floaty, and I was just sitting there with my feet in the pool after a while, watching the kids, and I could see as time went on, she was hurting more and more, and she's a lot like her mom. She's a tough girl, and she wanted to stay in the pool with the kids, so she tried to fight through that and tried to stay in the pool as long as she could, but it finally got to the point where she couldn't take it anymore, and she floated over to me. She said, "Uncle Bobby, I need to get out of the pool." She says, "I hurt real bad." So I picked her up and I carried her in the house.
Was it shortly after that she went to Johns Hopkins, All Children's Hospital?
Yeah, I'm not sure of the exact date, but yes.
Did you ever accompany Maya or Jack or Beata to any of her treatments?
No, unfortunately, I wasn't allowed to.
So she goes into Johns Hopkins, All Children's Hospital. How did you first learn that she wasn't going to be coming home soon?
Jack and I talked every day, and he called me and told me, he says, "They took Maya." And I said, "What do you mean they took Maya?" And he says, "They took custody of Maya. They took her away from us."
Jesus.
Me, like him, and everybody else like Maya, like Beata. Everybody was in shock, not understanding what just happened.
How would you describe your brother's reaction, knowing that you couldn't come home?
Fear, which is something I've never seen on Jack's face before. I've seen him do stuff on the fire department that most people in this world would never try, dangling off of water towers and stuff. And I've never seen fear on his face, but it was just, he was scared. For the first time I saw my brother really, truly scared.
Same question. What about Beata? How'd she react?
Angry. Jack and Beata were a little different in that respect, where Beata was, like I said, she would tell you how she feels, and Jack was kind of the opposite of that, where he would tell you how he feels, but just a different reaction, where Beata was mad and scared, and but definitely angry.
What about your nephew Kyle?
He was just a little boy. He was devastated, His sister, and they were close. They, a lot of little.
All right, I just gotta, and I'm sorry, I gotta break up the. This is so heartbreaking. This case. This kid is so cute. Look at her brother. What a sweetie. But why are the kids wearing their hair like this these days? Why are all the boys doing this? That I don't hate it, but isn't it interesting how these looks come and go? We're going back to like a Beatles with a flip. So like 60s hair, would you call this? Like early 60s going in like Beatles, but with like this little curl in the front that they're doing. And they're using, the boys, I've seen this on YouTube and I've seen people talking about it. And some friends of mine have been like, my son wants to use my flat iron. And I don't understand why. And they're using the flat iron to flip up the front like this. This is the new thing with the kids now. Have you seen this? He has a hair helmet. Now, we are not making fun of Kyle. Kyle is a victim of this. We love Kyle. I think he's adorable. His hair is cute. Yeah, the monkeys. That's what I was trying to say. Not the Beatles, the monkeys. Because the Beatles had like the bowl cuts that went inward. But the monkeys had more of like this, hey, we're the monkeys. It's funny how like 80s fashion came back and now we're doing like 70s hair. I don't know, like the 2020s, the 20s are weird. We can't decide what decade we're in. We've got 70s bell bottoms, but also 80s clothes with the big puffy sleeves. And now the monkey's hair. It cracks me up, though, to hear my friends say that their sons are borrowing their flat irons so they can get their perfect little curls in the front. I've never known boys to spend this much time on their hair.
Well, kids don't play together. They were in that pool all the time. They did everything together. And so, at 8 years old, I think he was at the time, he lost his best friend. I don't know the words. Shocked, scared, just unbelievable.
And you were aware at this point that the accusations by the hospital were that Beata had this condition and was a child abuser?
Yes.
Drawing off of your experience as a detective with child abuse investigations, had you ever seen any signs of child abuse in the Kowalski home? Jack Kowalski.
I knew they were going to object. Because they haven't qualified him as an expert. That's what I think. I think they're going to say that his testimony is irrelevant to what he thinks is abuse because they haven't laid the foundation that he's an expert and he wasn't qualified as an expert. That's or voir dire. What do they do? Voir dire. I hate saying that word. Why does everything in the legal terms have to be in Latin? Anyway, I wonder if they're going to let him answer this. They should.
Sustained.
It's sustained. Judge isn't going to let him answer. That sucks. He's a cop, but the jury saw him say no because he got it in there before the objection.
When Maya was in the hospital, did you submit your name for a background check so that you could be a supervised visitor at the hospital?
Yes, I did.
Was your background check approved?
Yes.
Were you allowed to visit?
No, I was not.
Did the hospital ever give you a reason why?
Objection. I'm going to overrule that question.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Did the hospital ever give you a reason why you weren't allowed to visit?
They didn't think it was a good idea.
Why is he not allowed to? Oh, she's going to say hearsay. She's going to say that's hearsay because he's not going to be allowed to testify to what the hospital told him. Probably. That's my guess. Damn. This is how they get away with it. This is how hospitals get away with it. They get away with, in court, they don't let the evidence come in. The evidence doesn't come in of what they said and what they did. He should be able to say what they told him and let them, show evidence they didn't. I don't know. But I'm not a lawyer. I know these things are detailed and, there's answers for everything. I'm going to speed this up a bit while they're doing this. I'm getting tired. How long have we been on? An hour? I want to catch up with this over the weekend so that we're ready to go on Monday. Because I can do some streaming live on Monday. Probably not for 6 or 7 hours, though.
Objection is sustained. Members of the jury, that last question and answer you're going to disregard.
I cannot believe that he sustained it. But I can't. Oh, jeez. I'm sure it was hearsay.
How long was Maya in the hospital?
I honestly don't recall. Several months.
Did you ever have the opportunity to visit her in the hospital?
No, I did not.
They don't want him to
Who were
say
you
they
getting
wouldn't let
reports
him
from during
visit.
that time about Maya's condition?
Mostly Jack.
During the 3 or so months that Maya was in the hospital, how was Beata doing?
She was struggling. She was researching a lot about the disease, just struggling, trying to figure out how to get her baby home.
How was your brother doing?
Trying to hold the family together. In such an ugly situation, he tried to be the strong one and keep Kyle going and keep Beata on track, and just he was struggling.
January 8th, 2017. Does that date have any significance to you?
Yeah, it's my 50th birthday.
Can you describe how you woke up that morning?
Jack called me and said Beata just hung herself, and you need to get over here right away.
Did you rush over?
Yes, immediately. I told my wife Beata hung herself. I'm going to Jack's, and I took off across the street.
And you went into the house?
Yes,
Did you go in through the front door or the garage?
front door.
Where was Kyle?
Kyle was near the laundry room door, which is just to the right of the front door. And he was trying to get into the garage. Jack was yelling, Kyle, no, you can't go in there. He was trying to keep him back.
Can I stop you there?
Mhm.
Your Honor, we'd like to, at this point, publish 2615 and allow the jury the opportunity to listen.
Is it in evidence?
It is, Your Honor.
You may.
February 2017, 7 hours, 57 minutes, and 38
This poor
seconds. Damn.
kid.
911, what's the location of your emergency? What's the address? What city are you in?
Venice. Closest road is Lee Road in Venice.
Is there a name to the neighborhood?
Kyle.
What's the phone number that you're calling from?
I'll give you my cell.
Tell me exactly what happened.
She hung herself in the garage.
Oh, Jesus. Give these kids some privacy, cameraman.
No.
Stay on the line. Are you with her now?
Well, I'm in the garage.
How old is she?
42.
God.
Is she awake? I just have to verify.
She's stiff. She's stiff. She's stiff. Oh my God. No, Kyle, you can't go in there.
Okay, tell me why she looks like she's dead.
No, I'm a retired deputy fire chief. I know she is.
Oh, Jesus.
Do you think she's beyond any help?
Beyond, yes, rigor. I'm sure she's really
okay.
stiff.
I'm sending I'm sending someone to assist you. Please leave everything as you found it. Is there anything we can do for you?
Okay, just please get somebody here.
They're on their way.
I'm gonna bring my son to my neighbors or call my neighbor.
Okay. Can you tell me the address there one more time?
Oh, God.
Okay, they're on their way.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
What'd you do with Kyle when you got there?
I grabbed Kyle and I asked Jack if he could call the fire department. And just told him I'm getting Kyle out of here. And I scooped up Kyle, and he's just a skinny little boy, and I grabbed him and took him home, and we sat in a chair in my living room for probably 6 or 8 hours crying.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus.
Did you see Jack the rest of that day?
Oh, I'm sure I did when I brought Kyle back, or I don't recall, honestly.
Maya was still at Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital.
Yeah.
How long was it after that morning that Maya came home from the hospital?
Not long at all. I don't remember how many days.
Yeah, they got scared and they let her go.
So emotionally, we can all guess how Maya was at that point.
Yeah.
How was she physically when she came home out of the hospital?
Horrible. Horrible. She had been getting so much better, and just to see her going from, improving every day to coming home and her feet were all turned inward, her toes were pointing at each other. Again, just looking at her face, the amount of pain in that child, I think it was worse than I had ever seen at that point.
So stepping back and comparing Maya physically to where she was in late September, early October of 2016 before she went in the hospital. In January 2017, when she comes out of the hospital, was she better or worse?
She was far worse coming out of the hospital.
What'd you do to support your brother in the next days and weeks?
I closed my shop down and I stayed with him. I think I closed my shop probably for a couple months, and I stayed with him every day and helped him with paperwork, cleaning the house, cooking meals, whatever it took, just anything, just to be there for him.
As the Kowalskis grappled with their new life, did you have the opportunity to observe Maya physically rehabilitate herself?
Yeah, and she lost her mother, so she was obviously emotionally in a different place. But from a physical standpoint, she's a lot like a mother. She was just very determined, and she was going to work hard, and she wanted out of that wheelchair, and she wanted to walk again. And she worked out constantly through the pain. I would see her on the floor in front of her wheelchair doing exercises with tears coming out of her eyes, but she would fight right through it. And then one day, after she had finally gotten up on crutches, one day I come over and she's loading up her book bag, not to go to school, but she's putting all kinds of books in her book bag, and she put it on her back just to walk down the street to her friend Riley's house on her crutches. And she wanted that extra weight on her back for exercise and the practice so she can go back to school. She's a tough kid. And I love you, Maya.
How about
Aw.
your nephew, Kyle? How'd he do in the 6 months, year after he lost his mother?
Poor Kyle.
Very introverted.
Poor baby.
I mean, how does any kid do knowing that they're never going to see their mother again? He struggled. He was very quiet, stayed in his room, didn't interact much with anybody. And I think it was, he was trying to grieve internally. And then he eventually, long term, getting to the point where he is now, he fishes. That's his outlet. He likes to fish. It's his place to get away, I think. Maya immersed herself in her school books when she got back to school, and Kyle immersed himself in fishing. But
I just want to point out something, and I just got irrationally angry because, I cover the Prince Harry and Meghan Markle nonsense, and here's Harry, a grown man in his 30s or almost 40, right? And blaming everything in his life over losing his mother in a tragic accident. A lot of people lost their mothers. And, it's like, he behaves like he's the only person in the world who had a personal tragedy. And here we have, how old was this little boy when he found his mother hanging? Was he 5, 6 years old? I mean, it makes me irrationally angry, more angry at Prince Harry, this kid who was handed everything and had all the support he could possibly need, whose mother, yes, died tragically, but at least it was an accident. At least it wasn't this This is much worse. And I swear, I just wish he would grow up and realize that other people have had tragedies too, and stop telling everybody how damaged he is because he lost his mother. If you didn't lose your mother like this, you're not as damaged as these poor kids. Holy cow. Just had to say that.
And Jack immersed himself in helping people again. I think he just, like I said, eventually turned to fishing to have his quiet time and to deal with this.
And my last question, your brother Jack, how has he changed since losing Beata?
He's changed the most, and he hides it the most. He's not as funny as he used to be. He's a dad and a mom, and he's the best father I've ever known. He's always been the best father I've ever known. But taking on the role of being a mother as well for those children, there's nobody in this world that could have done it better. He will do anything for his children. He, again, needed some kind of an outlet, and I kind of did too with the pain issues I was going through. So I think for my last 5 years living in Florida, I saw Jack more than my wife, literally, because we would get up every morning and go get coffee at Wawa and sit down and have a sandwich and talk to a couple old vets that would sit out there every morning, and we'd kind of hang out with them. And then we would go help neighbors, whether it be painting baseboards in their house or painting their house, or we kept busy helping people because that's what we were always taught to do. But he's changed in the sense of, I keep going back to humor thinking about this. Not that you're not funny anymore. He's a very serious person because he knows the struggles he has raising 2 children alone. I'm glad I was there for him. I'm glad he was there for me. I think we helped each other a lot, but he's different. He's just probably doesn't socialize as much. I know he doesn't socialize as much as he used to. There used to be a lot more gatherings in the neighborhood and everything that there is now, and he was always a big part of them. That neighborhood kind of became my community as well.
Your witness.
Good morning, sir.
Hi, how are you?
Good. I just have a couple of questions for you.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to bring you back to the trip to Mexico.
Mhm.
With regard to that photograph with the teddy bear and coming back, is it your understanding that that was from the second trip to Mexico when they went back for a booster?
I do not recall honestly what the date was on that.
Okay, do you recall that they did go back to Mexico a second time?
Objection.
Legal basis?
Not facts, not evidence.
Overruled.
I don't recall.
Okay, that's fine. And then let's talk about Maya's condition leading up to going to the admission at All Children's in October.
Mhm.
Okay. You would agree, sir, that she was in a significant amount of pain, expressed pain prior to that admission, correct?
She was in pain, but it was greatly getting better. She was getting better every day.
Okay. Are you aware, sir, of all the ketamine treatments that she was getting in the week leading up to that admission?
I knew there were treatments, and I don't know at what point I learned about ketamine specifically.
Sure. Sure. So are you aware that she was going to see Dr. Hannah on 9/27, 9/28, 9/29, 9/30, October 5th, and October 6th for ketamine treatments?
No, I knew she saw Dr. Hannah. I don't know dates of her appointments.
Okay. And just briefly, sir, about not being able to see Maya while she was in the hospital. Sir, you're aware that there were various court orders that were entered, or are you aware that there were various court orders that were entered regarding visitation?
I'm aware that I was notified that
Sir, I don't want
had
to,
permission.
I'm just asking if you're aware of the court orders. Yes or no?
That there were court orders that there was no visitation
Regarding visitation.
for other people, not for me.
Okay, sir. And all of your communications with regard to whether or not you could visit Maya were with DCF personnel, correct?
The conversations about whether or not I could visit Maya.
We're with DC. So yes or no, sir? We're with all
I'm trying
DCF
to recall.
personnel.
Please give me a second.
Sure.
It's a long time ago. I can't say all of them, but I know some of them were. I don't recall if there were any with anybody that I don't even know who worked for the hospital. I know I did have conversations with people that work for the state.
Yes, sir. Thank you. 1 minute. Nothing further, sir.
Any redirect?
Sir, just to confirm, during the 3.5 months that Maya was in the hospital, you submitted your information for a background check.
Yes.
That background check was approved.
Yes.
You never had the opportunity to see Maya in the hospital.
Correct.
Thank you.
Anything further?
No, Your Honor.
Members of the jury, do you all have any questions for this witness? If so, just raise your hand. Seeing no hands, sir, you can go ahead and be excused. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
I have your next witness, please.
This will be Kyle Kowalski.
God, I'm such a boomer. What I was saying was they did this in Colorado too, where the jury is allowed to ask questions of the witness. And in Cynthia Absuck's case, the jury did that and it freaked me out and I hated it because from the second they opened their mouths while she was on the stand and they would send a question on a piece of paper to the judge. And as soon as they asked the questions, I knew that they were too stupid to serve on that jury. And I knew that she was in big trouble because they were not paying attention. And you can tell from the questions that jurors ask whether they pay attention or not. They don't do this in every state. This is just a state-by-state sort of thing. So I guess in civil cases in Florida, the jury can ask questions, and I'm sure they will eventually have some. But pay close attention to the questions they ask because you can tell who is paying attention and who isn't, and which jurors are less than medium smart, shall we say. Jacob Peets, don't apologize for being passionate about this subject or this case. I'm happy that you're here and you're bringing a lot of interest to the chat. And also, everybody should feel that way about this case and about what's going on in our justice system. It's an absolute crime what is happening to people in the medical system, in our child protective system, in family court. It was the family court that did this to them. And I'm going to find out in the coming days about the lawsuit against the state and what happened there, because one settled and the others got dropped off the case. So I don't know. It doesn't sound good.
Cal Kowalski, come on down, sir. Yes.
Kyle's going to testify.
Okay. Hi. State your name for the record.
Kyle Kowalski.
Who's your sister?
Maya Kowalski.
And who's your dad?
Jack Kowalski.
And who is your mom?
Beata Kowalski.
Where do you live?
We live in a subdivision in Venice named Stonewall.
Okay. And do you recall about how long you've been there in Stonewall?
Yeah, we've been there since 2014.
Now, were you born in Florida or were you born someplace else?
I was born in Chicago, and we moved when I was around 7 years old to Florida.
How much do you remember about Chicago?
I remember some events, but nothing major.
Okay. Let me show you, Judge, what's been previously agreed to at 25-28-041. May we publish?
Yes.
Good night, Kay.
And is that you as a baby? I know you probably don't remember that one, but
Yes, that's me.
okay, that's your mom?
Yes.
All right. Now, have you since learned that your mom had some difficulties with you when you were born?
Yes, I have found that out.
What was up with you?
She had there was problems with her getting pregnant, and then when I was born, I also had neonatal thrombocytopenia, which is where I lacked platelets.
Okay. And did your mom help with that treatment?
Yes, she very much did.
What happened?
Well, the only platelets that I would accept would be from her, but since she just gave birth, she wasn't technically allowed to like give platelets. So she checked herself out of the hospital, and she did the platelets.
Came back
yes.
with the blood?
Correct, yes.
Okay. And you remember your mom growing up in Chicago?
Yes, I do.
Let me show you 25-28-007. Published, Your Honor?
Are these photos and evidence?
They are.
Then yes.
Okay. Is that your mom as a younger person?
Yes, it is.
These are not in evidence.
This one is not? Yes, it's on the ones that we agreed to.
I'll let the attorneys come forward, please.
Oh, I missed the picture. I was typing something. What was the picture that they're objecting to? What was the picture? Was it this? No. What was it?
1 and 050. Do you see this? 1 and 05.
530-252.
What did I miss? Oh, this. This is not. What? This is not in record. They're going to freak out about that.
Not? Yes, it's on the ones that we agreed to.
I'll let the attorneys come forward, please.
All right, we'll speed this up while they're doing this. This case is so sad, but it's really hard to sue a hospital for negligence or malpractice. They have the best, most expensive lawyers ever, although I don't know if I'm going to call Miss Mole a terrific lawyer, but she is keeping them from getting what they want in. So far, she's doing a good job. So far, I would say that the defense counsel is doing a great job keeping out all the evidence they don't want presented. They've won every one.
Yes, what 10? Like, I thought you all told us the other time. What 10 are we talking?
2528-041, 2528-077, 2528-106, 2528-081, 2528-117. What's the first five?
What was the first one again? 2528 what?
041. And then the next five come from 2530, and they're 2530-003, 006, 027, 041, and 050.
We have one video. Yes,
Let's deal with those 10 photos first. Okay, so course number receive 2528-041-077.
I want to answer this question in the chat. Critter Watcher says, I agree about parents' rights, but then I wonder about Jehovah's Witness parents to refuse blood products when life-saving to young kids, because I'm not sure about that. Is it different? I think that's a tough one. I really do. I think it's tough. I think that children do not belong to the state. They belong to their parents, and this is a country founded on religious freedom, and you have the right to practice your religion and to raise your children in that religion. Now, I think Jehovah's Witnesses are crazy. However, they don't. And it's not up to me. It's not up to me to decide how they raise their kids. And if they so choose that they are going to not do blood transfusions because they believe that it's against God's laws, well, I don't know how we can stop them or why we would want to. What is wrong with my chair? Can I just break my chair handle? I think my chair, oh, the screw in my chair armrest just came loose. Shoot, I'm going to have to get a screwdriver and fix that, but I don't have one right now. Oh, for fuck's sake. All right. Anyway, speaking of for fuck's sake, you can pick up your for fuck's sake merchandise in the merch store. Check it out. It's the link's in the description, and I also threw it in the chat. I'll do it again in a few minutes. Anyway, I don't know. I think that's really tough for me because I don't think that the state should take. Yeah, they can't stop their kid from transitioning, though. I've got a screw loose. Do you know how often my dad has said that about me? God, it seems like a daily occurrence. I'm going to have to tell him it finally happened. I found the screw. I found the screw that's loose. Timestamp? 1 hour, 30 minutes, approximately. 1 hour, 30 minutes is when I discovered that I have a screw loose. And now I can't lean on my armrest. This is going to be really upsetting. And I don't have a screwdriver up here. If this were my husband's desk, there would be like 6 different screwdrivers. And now I have to lean on the other one. This is very upsetting. This is so upsetting. And it's like, it keeps falling down. This is terrible. All right. Well, now I'm holding it. Look at the armrest is completely detached. This has thrown off my mojo. All right. It's confirmed. You got a screw loose. No, I don't have a Swiss Army knife. What do I look like? A 10-year-old boy? Why would I have that? What? I have nail files. I have a lipstick. Oh, I have a crochet needle. Well, that's not going to help. But I do have a crochet needle. I have, look at all this weird shit I have on my desk. I have like 6 different lip glosses. I have a bruise kit in case I need to frame my husband for domestic abuse. I have a bruise kit left over from the Johnny Depp trial. I have Zicam because I'm always sick. I've got that to stick up my nose. I have paper clips, hair clips, reading glasses. Oh, I have incense. I have some incense. Oh no, the nail files won't work because they're not like the old grandma kind. They're the new kind, that are like emery boards or like a block. This is not going to help me. I have nail polish. Oh wait, here's a metal thing. Oh, you guys want to watch me fix my chair with a with a with a nail clippers. Let's do it. I'm gonna fix my chair with this. With this. Ready? All right, wait. Is it a let's see, what kind of screw is this? Oh no, it's not even a real screw. I need one of those. I need one of these things. Wait, can you see that? No, you can't. It's like round. What do you call that? It's octagonal. It's octagonal. That's not going to work. I need a. Oh, I might have that thing because it came with the chair. What do they call it? A church key? What do you call that thing? Is it a church key? Oh my God! This is a 5-alarm emergency. I have to fix my chair. I can't stream without a chair, without an armrest. Let's see. What do I have in here? I have Joe Biden. I did that stickers. Is that going to help me? I could maybe try to stick it back on using these. What else do I have? What the hell did I do with that church key thing? Isn't that what it's called? Oh, a hex wrench. A hex, yes. Oh my God, where is it? Well, I have playing cards and matches. Ah, this isn't gonna work. Wait. What about this? No. Okay, wait, I have a bigger nail clippers. I have a lot of nail clippers. I have several types of nail clippers. Several types. No. I need my husband. Where's my husband? He's probably sleeping. We're doing homework. Oh no, I don't need a wardrobe malfunction right now. That would be really bad. All right, I have to stop screwing with this. Pun not intended. All right. I guess we'll get back to the trial while I sit here and ruminate over how my chair is ruined.
106-081-117. That work at? Also report order C2530-003, 006, 027, 041, and 050. What's next?
There is one video. It is 2698. It's a video of Kyle and Maya playing in the pool, August 11th, 2016. Relevant material to Maya's physical capabilities. They're paddling around. You can see her legs, her arms, and you can see her also interacting with her brother and her brother's relationship with her. Relevant materials, both damages and physical.
Oh, wait, that's too fast. What did he say? It doesn't matter. We'll catch up. Aw.
I think this is about it.
Rasp8 on Rumble says I'm in my dramatic widow robe. Or at least that's what I call it. I like to think of it as like a soap opera robe. It's a dressing gown. It is truly one of the most luxurious things I own. When I was 18, I told my grandma that I wanted it. No one would buy it for me because it was very expensive at Victoria's Secret. It was probably like $120. And back in 1994, that was a lot. And of course, she bought it for me. Yes, Scarlett O'Hara. That dressing gown she wears in Gone with the Wind. Oh my God. dreams are made out of that dressing gown. I'm telling you that I've always wanted one of those that had like the button waist and a big full skirt. You know, you don't see those very often. I don't, maybe not ever. And this is as close as I could get to it. And it has these, I love the faux fur around the cuffs because it's on the cuffs and the collar. I mean, and it's full length and gold and brown. I mean, and velvet. How do you get there's just nothing better than this. Nothing better. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. I really, really, really do need my husband to come fix this chair. Why am I so useless? If my daughter were if Spawn were here right now, she'd already have fixed it. She's just like him. She can fix anything.
Oh, the date of it?
August 11th, 2016.
A little less than 2 months before the admission at Johns Hopkins Children.
Defense, what was the objection?
It was cumulative irrelevance. So the thing I'm waiting for a clip of this to show function.
Well, with respect to the relevance, the court finds that it is relevant and that it does show Maya's capabilities approximately 2 months prior to her admission. And so I don't think we're at the cumulative point at this point. I think we're not at cumulative. So I'll admit the entire clip. You know, if they want to play only a portion, that's them, but I'm going to admit the entire. The court will receive the entirety of 2698. Did I get that number right?
698,
yes. So I'll receive 2698. Anything else before we bring the jury back in?
No, Your Honor. And the error before was that there was a miscommunication. They thought I said 07. I said it was 077. So 07 was the one that came up with Beata as a young woman. I apologize. I just went with it. But 077 is actually John Deere toy with Maya and Kyle. So my apologies, just a miscommunication between me and the.
Let's bring the jury.
The video stole.
It is no longer up.
Is that right?
Man, that would have worked if it was a regular screw. Oh, stand by me. You set the Venmo. Thanks for the almost.
While you were waiting, did not discuss this case amongst yourselves. You did no investigation. You received no information. Is that all correct? Now let me make a statement. You're seeing a lot of exhibits. I will tell you, when you deliberate, you will have all exhibits available to you. So don't think that this is the only time that you'll ever get to see an exhibit. And there's going to be times that we do not publish exhibits, but you will have all exhibits available to you during your deliberations. Mr. Anderson, you may continue.
Like Kyle, before we were talking a little bit about your memories of you and your sister. Have you been close since you can remember?
Yes, Maya and I have always been close. She was my best friend. She was there since I was born, so we did pretty much everything together.
Let me show what's previously been marked into evidence as 2528077. Permission to publish.
You may.
Now, what I want to find out, was this your place back up in Chicago?
Yes, that's correct.
And you and your sister are entering a mudding race, or this is one of the toys, this is just you two playing?
Yeah, so this used to be our favorite thing to do back in Illinois. We would ride this thing all day until the battery would die, and then we would just watch the battery charge up and just count down the time until we could ride it again.
All right. Now, did there come a time when your mom, and were you close to your mom?
Yes,
the entire
so.
time?
Yes.
I mean, sometimes kids get along well with their mom, sometimes not so well, usually the former, but you get along with your mom well?
Very much so, yes.
Was she easy for you to talk to?
Yes, she was.
Did you find her to be more on the hard side or more on the kind of
no
compassionate
armrest
side? How would you describe her?
In like what way?
Well, was she disciplinarian? She made sure you did the right thing, brushed your teeth, all that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And was she soft with you as well?
Yes.
In terms of being affectionate and so forth.
Yes, very much so.
Did she teach you about your heritage? Being Polish.
She did mention stuff about her heritage, and her dream was to take Maya and I and the family to Poland to see where she grew up, and that was one of her like lifelong dreams was to do that.
With the court's permission, published 2528-106. It's in evidence.
You may.
Now, what's this?
So that would be her childhood home where she grew up when she was a child.
Mm-hmm. And that's you there with your sister?
Yes.
Okay. And do you have relatives still over in Poland, do you know?
Not direct family, but I think possibly cousins.
Okay. And did your mom tell you anything about her life over there or coming over before she came over here?
Yes, she told me how bad it was and how like the government had like a major say and like restricted on everything she pretty much did.
Did she explain to you about communism?
Yes, she did.
Was she happy to come over here?
She was extremely happy to come over here.
Okay. And tell us a little bit more about this trip. Did you, how long did you spend over there?
We spent a month over there, and we basically visited throughout the whole entire country. Like we wouldn't stay in one area long. We would do all the cool touristy stuff, and then we move on to another location.
Mm-hmm. Is your family fairly religious?
Yes, we are.
Were you fairly religious back while your mom was alive?
Yes.
Roman Catholic?
Correct.
Did you go to mass?
Yes, we did.
How often?
We would go to mass every weekend, and then afterwards we would go to Sunday school.
Was that up in Chicago as well as down here?
Correct.
Okay. All right. And what was your church here? Good. Catholic church. Well, what was your church here in Venice area?
Was it Catholic? Is that what you're asking? Yes, it was Catholic.
Okay. But what's the name of it?
It's called Epiphany Cathedral.
Okay. All right. And then, do you recall moving to Venice?
I do recall moving to Venice, yes.
Okay. At that age, I know you were really young. Let's, with the court's permission, publish 2528-081.
You may.
Is this soon after you moved to Venice or around the time?
This is actually before we moved to Venice. We took a vacation to Venice as a family to just check it out. So yes, this is actually before we moved there.
Do you have early memories of Venice?
I do.
I just had a thought. Do you think anybody would stop Native American families from, like, let's say Native American families wanted to raise their children in their religion and way of living, not using any of our medical interventions? Like, who are we to say that our medical interventions are the best? Haven't we come to the conclusion that they're not the best yet? Like, oh my God, this is as good as $100 super chat. You got to be kidding me. Socially awkward human just says, I picked watching Megan over Nick right now. That is something. I'm giving him a run for his money tonight. I told him that last night too. Oh, I never mind. I'm not going to get into it. I'll just suffice it to say that I was texting Nick, and I'm always setting myself up to be the butt of the joke every single time. I can't help it. It's the blonde in me. Yeah, forced jabs. We have so much medical tyranny in this country. Who are we to tell anybody? Jehovah's Witnesses, Native Americans, Chinese, anybody who has different alternative medicines. Who are we to tell them? And who is CPS to tell them that you must choose the American way of treating your kid? Who are we? Who are they to tell any of us how to be healthy? Are Americans healthy? Has our American healthcare system produced the healthiest people in the world? No, it's produced the fattest, sickest people in the world. Go anywhere else. Nobody is as fat as we are. Nowhere. Nowhere. Go walk around Wisconsin for a while and then go to Italy and see the difference in the people. Our government has no business telling anybody how to live, what to do, how to be healthy, because they're not making anybody healthy. They're spraying shit in the sky that no one will tell us what it is. Like, what, cloud seeding? What are you doing? There are preservatives in our food that are poison and made out of plastic. And this is all okay according to the FDA. And you can eat wheat that's been soaked in glyphosate that we know causes cancer. But the FDA is totally fine with that. But if you're a family that says, I want to try an alternative medicine for my kid because I don't really trust this Western system, or maybe they just haven't been able to help me. Maybe I just want to try something else because I don't like this poison that you're giving me, or this no help that you're not giving me. Oh, well, Jacob, you're wrong there, because Native Americans have been unbelievably targeted by CPS. CPS does have a long arm on the reservation, and it's a big scandal. Huge scandal, because they have laws that say that if you take a Native child, that child has to be placed with a Native family in the same tribe. And they have been violating that for years. Years. Believe me, CPS causes all kinds of problems, and nobody ever hears about it because Native Americans have no power, no voice, and no way to tell. It's a scandal, and there's been some good reporting on it, but it's a bad scandal.
And at least up until your mom passed, you're happy in Venice?
Yes.
Okay. So now, you were going to school here. Where did you go to school? Elementary?
In elementary, I went to Taylor Ranch.
All right. And where are you going now?
I'm currently doing online school.
Okay. Before online, did you go to junior high or high school here?
Yes, I did junior high and high school in person before.
Okay. All right. So up until, let's say, the July 4th, 2015, we've talked about here, you've been in the courtroom for. Can you tell the jury whether your sister, from your perspective, was healthy and active?
Yes, Maya was extremely healthy and active. We did stuff on the daily together. And from that point, she never complained about any pain or anything.
Okay. Was she pretty, like if she fell down, was she the type of kid that cried a lot, or was she the type of kid who held it in?
Maya was like the type of kid to hold it in. She didn't want to really just bother people about it, so she would hold it in.
Was that true of her throughout the whole time you knew her?
Yes.
Known her?
Yes.
All right. And so you said you did a lot together. Let me show you, court's permission, 2528-117.
Yes, you may.
And this is you two before she got sick?
Correct.
Out in the back?
Yes.
Okay. Is that something that you two like to do a lot?
Yeah, that was something that Dad, Maya, and I would do a lot.
Mm-hmm. Fish out back there? Got it. And this is right out back of your house, the little lake?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. All right. So do you recall your sister getting sick? Do you remember that day that she got sick, or were you there?
I remember the day, but not, it's like a little bit of a blur for me, but I do remember certain stuff from that day.
Let's figure out now if Maya was what, about 9 when this happened? You would have been what, 7?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any memories of it?
I do have some memories of it, yes.
What do you recall that day?
I remember her cough that she had. It wasn't like a normal cough like that any other person would have. It was like a very deep, and it wasn't just a cough. It was her like crying and moaning and coughing all at the same time.
We have that clip previously marked in Devon's. What is it? It's 2616. Just can you tell the court?
2616, beginning at 106, ending at 120.
The one we previously played for the court.
Yes. You may play that portion.
Thank you. And what are we going to hear now? This is the cough?
Correct.
All right, go ahead.
Be strong.
Now, Kyle, tell us about that. Do you recall that episode?
I don't recall that particular one, but I do remember certain episodes that were very similar to that one.
Is that the cough?
Yes, that's the cough.
And when did that cough start? Was this after the 15th, the 2015 4th of July time period?
Yes, that's the first time I heard it, and then it progressed.
Okay. All right. And she had that for a long period of time?
Correct.
Now, after that point, then we're talking about the 4th of July when you first heard your sister get sick. Did you start having to go away a lot for treatments?
Yeah, she was always going away. I just assumed that they were just normal doctor appointments. I didn't really have a understanding on where she was going.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she was starting to go away a lot more.
And from your perspective, I know you were 7 or so, but was she continuing to not do well and or getting worse over this period?
Yeah, this whole timeline of events, starting from the 4th of July, it was all a decline from there in her her health.
Okay. And did there come a time when you recall her going off to Mexico?
I do recall that time frame, yes.
Now, did you go on that trip?
No, I did not.
All right. So let me show you now. Well, strike that. So she was in Mexico for a period of time?
Yes.
And was that before Christmas of 2015, you recall?
I do not recall exactly.
Mm-hmm. Okay. But around that time in the winter of 2015?
I believe it was around that time frame, yes.
Well, let me show you trial exhibit 2530-003 in evidence. Move to publish.
You may.
Okay. Oh, and who's all that? Is that Christmas?
Yes, that is Christmas, and that's my family.
All right. Now, she had just come back from Mexico by this time?
Yes, now I remember that, yes.
Okay. Now, tell us about then after this period. She was in Mexico towards the very end of November, beginning of December. I think the evidence will show.
Hey guys, a bunch of you're still here. We've got over 120 people watching on Rumble, and I am really proud of you guys for that. Only 45 on YouTube, but somehow YouTube is beating Rumble on the likes. Can you fix that for me? Can you fix it? I don't really want to pull this stream over. I'm in a chill mood. I'm in my luxurious bathrobe and my soap opera bathrobe, my dramatic widow robe, and I don't feel like yelling at wayward children. So just hit the thumbs up so that we can get the algorithm moving. Thanks for being here, by the way, on Rumble. And if you like this channel, subscribe. Hit the subscribe button because we're going to do more of this. We're going to watch this trial. It's going to be several weeks, and we will. No, there will be no wardrobe malfunctions. Although, I mean, I don't think anyway. That's the intention is for none of those. So hit the subscribe, hit the like if you haven't done it already. Help me out. Follow me on Locals, meganfox.locals.com.
And she went to Mexico. I want you to tell the jury about how she did after that, compared with what she was like before she went to Mexico.
Yeah, so after Maya got back from Mexico, she regained a lot of her strength and also along with that, her happiness. And she was able to do stuff she was never able to do before. For example, Maya, just even unscrewing a water bottle cap would be very difficult for her. And then after the trip from Mexico, she regained strength back from all over her body and she was able to do stuff that she hasn't been able to do since she was sick.
Okay. Well, let me show you then maybe an example of this. This is 12. This is trial exhibit 2530-006 in evidence. Move to publish.
You may.
None
Okay,
ya.
now,
None your business.
This is just about
That was not the
6 weeks
point.
after
I want you to hit the like
Mexico.
button.
What's significant there about Maya's feet?
They are a lot more straight than they were.
What were her feet like before she left?
They were turned in.
Like how? Like
They were turned in quite an amount, yes.
right. And did she have any choice in that? Is that something that she had any control over, or were they always like that?
No, she had no control over that. They were always like that.
All right. And so now in this photo here, where are you? You're in your pool or someplace else?
Yes, we were in our backyard pool.
Okay. And so how's she doing here? Is she doing better from what you recall her being before she had the long-term ketamine treatment?
Yes, Maya is most definitely doing better. She was never able to have that much motion with her hands up in the air like that, and she was never able to have her feet that straight.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. Now, before she went off for the ketamine treatments in Mexico, did you know from watching her what parts of her body hurt her?
Yes.
Tell the jury the different areas that you physically saw or learned in some way that she was hurting in.
Yeah, what I experienced is a lot of the pain was in her lower extremities, but there was also pain in her upper extremities, especially with her arms.
Okay. And did you see different things other than the bottle cap where she would have difficulty holding herself up or getting herself around?
Yeah, she had like a belt for her wheelchair because she couldn't sit upright. And if there wasn't the belt there to hold her in her wheelchair, it would cause her to fall.
Jeez.
All right. And then if we look at moving on to exhibit 2530027. Now, this is about 3 months later in March of 2016. Move to publish.
You may.
Now, what's that?
That is Maya again in a backyard pool.
Okay. And again, her feet, are they looking better?
Yes, they are looking a lot better.
Okay. And before, could she move them into that position like that?
She would need help before for her feet to be in that position.
Got it. Okay. All right. Yeah. Let's move on then and see how she's doing then in May 21st, 2016, and at trial exhibit 2530-041 in evidence. Move to publish.
You may.
All right. So tell us about Maya's ability to tuck her leg under like that before.
Yeah, Maya was unable to really have like any control over her legs. If she wanted to move them, she would have to ask for assistance to move them. And at this point, she was able to move them on her own.
Okay. So was she getting stronger?
Yes, she most definitely was.
And then continuing on, let's take a look at these in order. Yeah. All right. So let's look at trial exhibit 2530-050 in evidence. Move to publish.
You may.
All right. What's happening here?
So that is Maya. She is trying to build upper body strength, doing some exercises on the walker. And I am there to help her, to assist her, because it's still not exactly possible, but she's very determined.
Okay. So by this point in July of 2016, was she looking forward to, were you looking forward to your sister getting out of that wheelchair and able to move around?
Yes, we all were, yes.
And so were there times, if there were allegations here that somehow that she was faking it or making any of this up, did you ever see her in a situation where the other kids were playing outside and you saw any emotion on her regarding her ability to join in?
Yes, I have seen stuff like that where I would be with my friends doing something outside, and then I could see her watching from the window, yes.
And how'd she look?
She looked very sad, and I felt extremely bad.
Did she want to get out of that wheelchair?
She was extremely determined to.
So then all the way through here, July, and then did there come a time, within a couple months of this, 6 weeks or so, that she had a setback?
Yes, that's correct.
What happened there?
Her condition just went the complete opposite way.
Did you ever learn why? What set it off?
I believe it was something to do with schooling.
So it was more on like the psychological side than an injury or something?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And so what was your reaction? Did you think this was going to hopefully pass pretty quick?
Well, I was extremely sad because I thought that Maya was going to get better like any time because she was doing the best she has been doing since she was 6. So when this whole thing went the opposite way, our whole family was absolutely devastated.
Of 2016?
Yes.
Excuse me. Okay. And so let me show you then, around the same time, a video previously marked into evidence as 2698. I'd like to publish it to show, I want you to tell us about what's going on here. It's pretty self-evident. Move to publish.
You may.
Now, is that, her legs are straight there?
Yes.
And how's her upper body strength?
Her upper body strength at this point was very good. Swimming is something that both Maya and I love doing, so we would always do it together.
So she was even able to move herself around pretty well in the water.
Yes.
And how'd that make you feel that your sister could like do that, pull herself out of the water and pull herself over?
Well, yeah, she used to not be able to do that. So at that point when she was able to do that, it was showing that she was progressing, and I thought it was a very good thing.
But still not quite ready to walk?
Correct.
Okay, so she pushed herself around on her legs and like that, and obviously master a dolphin. Well, maybe not master a dolphin, but master a dolphin for a little while. And is this something that you all enjoyed?
Yes.
Did you know that your mom was filming this?
No.
We're just like a predicate late for the date the video was done.
Let's finish the publishing.
And that's her wheelchair?
Yes.
And y'all kept it right in that spot?
It moved a little bit, but mainly in that area, yes.
All right. And then when she wanted to get out of the pool, how'd you get her out of the pool and into the wheelchair?
At this point, she had enough upper body strength to pull herself out and then grab the wheelchair and push herself up. But before that, we would need to pick her up out of the pool and put her into the wheelchair.
Now, did you know your mom was filming this? Or
No,
was
we
your
had
mom
no-
filming this?
I believe it was my mom or dad, but we had no clue filming it.
Okay. All right. I think that's enough of this one. It's okay. All right. And let the record reflect that, again, that was in August 11th of 2016. Now, did there come a time then when your sister, after she had been, as you said before, got sick again and you were upset and worried, do you remember the day that she went off to Johns Hopkins?
I remember it briefly. I remember that she was going somewhere, but I wasn't exactly sure where.
Okay. And did you know anything about the hurricane coming then, or was that something?
Yes, I did. I was under the understanding I did know the hurricane was coming, yes.
Okay. And so your dad left to take her up there to where?
I believe it was Johns Hopkins.
And was that the last time you had your sister home until into January of 2017?
Yes.
And was that the last time home with your entire family, your mom and your sister and you and your dad?
Yes.
So if the record reflects that she went into Johns Hopkins on October 7th, 2016, and October 6th, 2016 would be your last day with the whole family at your home?
Yes, that's correct.
During this period of time, she was up staying at Johns Hopkins, is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And do you know, were your parents trying to get her out of there?
Out of Johns Hopkins while she was taken for the 3.5 months?
Yes.
Yes, my mom and dad were researching every night and trying to find a way to get her out of there.
Okay. And was it hard on them?
Extremely hard.
What did you notice from, I know you were just a kind of little kid, but what did you notice about it?
The stress that was added on my parents, that like it was unmanageable. They were trying every way to get Maya out of there, and they were determined and wouldn't stop until she got out of there.
What about their relationship as time went on? I know you were just a little boy, but did you notice any stress?
Yes, the stress in the family caused more arguments than normal between them.
Did they argue much normally, or was it pretty stable marriage from what you saw? And I know you were just a kid.
Stable, yes.
Okay. But now, what was the change?
What do you mean?
Between them? Were they disagreeing? Were they?
Yeah, they were disagreeing on certain things. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Was it about how to get Maya out?
Yes, I believe there is a specific time where there was a disagreement on that.
Okay. All right. Now, before Maya left for Johns Hopkins, I want to ask you about some things and whether you noticed any of them on her. Did you ever see what are known as lesions? You know what lesions are?
Yes.
Round, angry, or streaky, almost a scrape looking with a lesion at the end of it on
Yes.
her? Did she have those before she went to Mexico? Did she have a lot of those?
Yes.
And did they hurt her?
Yes, they very much did hurt her.
Did you or your mom, or your dad have to put cream or things on them?
Yes, there was a certain ointment and cream that.
Okay. And then when she, during this period of time before she went for the ketamine treatments in Mexico, then did you notice that she would be super sensitive to touch at different points?
Yes, there would be times, especially in her legs and arms, where if you, like even just the sensation from water touching her would be too much.
And then other days it would be fine?
Some days, yes.
Okay. Did she have good days and bad days?
Yes.
Tell us about Maya's pain at night. Did that cause the family, and I'm talking about before she went off to Mexico, did that cause everybody some problems about sleeping?
Yeah, most certainly. Maya would be up crying and moaning all night, and I'm only like about 10, 12 feet away from her room, is my room, and I would be up all night hearing her.
Did y'all ever do anything so that Maya could communicate while y'all were on the other side of the house?
Yeah, we tried walkie-talkies because my parents' room and Maya's room were on complete opposite sides of the house.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And was this hard on you, hearing your sister in pain like that?
Yes.
And so then, how about and if you notice them or didn't notice them, her movements then in her lower body, was she limited in her feet movements all the time? Talking about before she left for Mexico?
Yes, she would need help moving her legs.
Okay. And what else did you notice that was strange? Anything about colors of her skin from time to time?
Yes, around her knees would be extremely red.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then what about, and I don't know if you saw this or not at your age, but any heat sensations or cold sensations where she'd get super hot or super cold for no apparent reason?
Yeah, there would be times where she would ask for a blanket.
Uh-huh. And this is Florida, so how did that strike you in the circumstances?
Very confused.
And I know you were small. All right, so after the ketamine treatments over the course of that spring and summer of 2016, before she went into Johns Hopkins, did any of those, we talked about and seen the dystonia, but did any of the other symptoms get better?
After the ketamine?
Yeah.
After treatments, yes, the symptoms definitely do get better.
Okay, so tell us about the lesions. Were they better?
Yeah, the lesions, they started to cure. They got better.
And her movement, of course.
Yeah, the movement definitely got better.
And was she more comfortable?
Yes, and she was also a lot happier.
A lot happier?
Yes.
Okay. And she was still getting, after Mexico, did you know she was still going off for some treatments here and there?
I was briefly aware, not.
Okay, you weren't part of that a
Yeah,
lot?
I wasn't exactly.
Okay. All right. But for whatever reason, your sister was happier.
Yes.
Was she still having pain here and there?
Yeah, there's definitely still be pain.
Okay. Now, while she was, let's jump ahead and talk about at Johns Hopkins. At first, were you anybody allowed to see your sister, or was this? Strike that. When was the first time you remember being able to go see your sister?
I do not remember the exact date, but I do kind of remember the day.
Okay.
Oh, I keep forgetting
And
that my
tell me about
armrest
that.
is broken and I keep
Yes,
pushing
so
it down
I was
more.
extremely excited to see Maya because it's the first time I've seen her since she was taken.
Right. And then, how was she in the hospital? Besides being excited to see you, but how did she look physically?
She was not doing good.
No?
No.
All right. And did you notice, or did she appear happy or sad about being in there?
She was extremely sad and wanted to come home.
Was she lonely?
Extremely.
And from what you saw, were you able to spend some time here and there with her? When I say time, I mean an hour or so, 2?
Yeah, we were only limited to our time, how long we could be there.
And how long was that?
I do not remember exactly.
Short, long, half a day?
It was short.
Was it less than half a day?
Most certainly.
How did the nurses and people around treat y'all?
I do not really have an understanding of how they treated us, but I remember Maya talking about how like some of them did not treat her well, and they were talking behind her back.
Okay. From what you saw, was your sister enjoying her interaction with the nurses or not enjoying it?
Not enjoying it.
All right. And so, how often would you get to come up and see her?
As often as I was able to.
And what was that? Was that once a week, once a month?
I do not remember exactly, but I do know it was as often as I could.
But when we're talking about this period, October, November, December, and into January, then can you give the jury idea? Was this just like once a week or so?
Yeah, it was probably limited to around that time.
And how did that make you feel?
It was extremely sad, especially with the holidays coming up. We extremely missed her and wanted her to be home by the holidays.
Mm-hmm. Was she home then for Halloween?
No.
Was she home for Thanksgiving?
No.
Christmas?
No.
Her birthday is sometime in December, isn't it?
Yes.
Was she home for her birthday?
No.
Okay. And so then you obviously recall and just sat through the 911 tape, but you know when your mom passed away, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're going to bring you back and talk about that a little later.
Okay.
But I want to skip ahead from there and talk about Maya's journey after she got out finally. Did she get out immediately after your mom died, or did it take a while to get her out?
It was not immediately after. It took a little time.
Do you remember how that affected you and your dad not being able to get her out?
Yes, on top of the death of my mom, it was extremely hard.
Okay. And do you remember how she was when she came home?
She was like the worst I've seen her. All her symptoms that she had were extremely intensified.
All right. Did she have the lesions back?
Yes.
Were her feet back in the
Yes.
dystonia? Was she weak?
Very.
Describe how weak.
She would have trouble opening like a water bottle cap off a water bottle.
This is a
Again,
swivel
right.
recliner. I just put
Anything
my
else?
seat back.
Was she able to get herself back up into a wheelchair?
And I
again?
have a
No, she
pillow.
needed help.
Did she need help with everything?
Yes.
Were there ever times when you thought you might lose your sister? then?
Most definitely, yes.
So, knowing your sister, did she try to get herself better?
She was extremely determined to get better.
All right. What did you see from your perspective? So let's see, you would have been what, like 8 or 9 by then?
Yes.
So from your perspective as her brother, how'd she do it?
She was working as much as she could to get better, doing all sorts of things to try to get better.
And what time would she get up in the morning to do it? Do you recall?
I remember that she would get up extremely early in the morning.
Like before 6
Yes.
to work out?
Yes.
Okay. And do you know during this period of time if it was painful for her to do this?
Yes, it was.
Did you notice that? What did you see?
There's times where she would just break down crying because the pain was too much.
And did there come a time then when she was able to try to switch off of the wheelchair and into crutches?
Yes, eventually she gained the strength to be able to do that.
Now, was this a just all at once thing, or did she have to spend some time in the wheelchair and then crutches, then back to the wheelchair and then crutches? In other words, did she have to work into it?
I do not exactly remember, but I remember the process from her being in the wheelchair to doing crutches was a long process.
Okay. And then from there on to being able to walk, did that take quite a while as
Yes,
well?
that did.
And we'll hear testimony about how long. All right. And so, but eventually she was able to walk, right?
Yes.
Obviously. Okay. Let's talk about her today, as she is today. Now, actually, I'll take that back. Do you remember her having a relapse after this?
Yes,
A couple
I do.
years later?
Yes.
Tell the jury what you recall about it.
I recall that she had a relapse and had like bad symptoms again, and that both Dad and I were extremely worried again for her health.
Okay. Did she go to the hospital again?
Yes, she did.
Did you? And how long was she in there? Do you recall?
I do not recall.
Was it a week? More than a
I
week?
think it was
less
a
than
little
week?
more than a week.
Okay. All right. And you went to visit her there?
Yes.
No problems getting in and out of that?
No
house?
problem. No.
And the once she got out of that, after that relapse, did she have to work again to rebuild herself?
Yes, she did.
And again, was that hard?
Yes, very hard on the family.
So after she got out of Johns Hopkins, within a couple of years, she had yet another relapse.
Yes.
And so, how's she doing now?
She's doing good. I mean, that's today though. Like tomorrow could be completely different. Her pain varies on a day-to-day basis.
Okay. Are there days when she just doesn't want to do anything?
Yes.
Okay. Have you noticed that she has any physical reactions, any tics, any issues with her legs, anything like that?
Yes, there is still times where I do notice that.
Okay. Anything new that you've noticed?
Not recently, no.
Okay. And so she's able to get around real well now.
Correct, yes.
Are there days when she'll just lay in bed all day and
Most
not want to
certainly,
do
yes.
anything?
Yes.
And other days she wants to go to the beach and go out and have
Yes.
fun, right? Does she ever know from day to day what it's going to be?
It's completely unpredictable.
And since your mom passed, tell me what it's been like. Well, hang on. You know what? I'm going to bring you back to that. We're going to save that right now, okay? Your witness.
Let me ask you this. Is it short or long?
Very short, Your Honor.
Okay, so we'll finish this witness before lunch.
In 10 minutes or less, Your Honor. May it please the court.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Kyle. Thank you for coming. The audio of the cough, you don't hear that anymore, do you?
Not anymore.
Okay. That cough that the jury heard about, you haven't heard that since your sister got out of All Children's, true?
Correct. I haven't heard it since.
Okay. You were asked, and I know you were young, so I don't want to push you too much on details if you don't remember, but I think you told the jury there was a time period after that July 3rd, 2015 incident when your sister had to be belted into a wheelchair.
I don't remember exactly the time frame, but I do remember there being a time where when she was in the wheelchair that there had to be a belt.
Okay. And I won't push any further, but do you know whether that was 2015, 2016?
Unfortunately, I'm sorry.
Okay. A little bit about the visitation. Were you in school while Maya was in the hospital?
I do not exactly remember.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember. When you say to the jury that you weren't able to see your sister as much as you wanted to, was that because you were in school during that period from October to December, or do you know if that was DCF limitations?
I visited her as much as I possibly could, so that was nothing to do with school.
Okay. When you did visit your sister at All Children's, some of the things you like to do were board games, Uno, things of that nature?
Correct.
Okay. Maya, during the period, if you remember it, if you don't, that's okay. Maya, during the period of time from July of 2015 until she went to All Children's, was doing school from home. Is that right?
I do not exactly remember when she was doing school from home, but at some point she was.
Okay. I won't push you on it any more than Kyle. You're back in school now?
I do online school, yes.
Okay. Let me just ask you briefly about a couple other things about it. When you were able to visit your sister in the hospital, you went with your dad?
Correct.
Okay. Your sister now, I think the jury's heard some stuff about how she used to ice skate before. Once she got back out of All Children's during her recovery, she was able to get back out on the ice. Right.
Yeah, she was able to, but with she did have some pain, so which forced her to have me quit.
Okay. But you were able to go to some of her ice skating competitions.
Correct, yes.
She was able to jump again and do twists and those types of things.
Yeah, but eventually it was too much.
And she
Oh,
quit.
He said, well, you just show us.
I appreciate you coming, Kyle. I'm sorry for your loss.
Yeah, how'd you like to be the dickbag lawyer that has to cross this kid?
No, nothing further, Your Honor.
Members of the jury, do any of you have questions? Go ahead and write it down, sir.
All right, I think this is where we'll be able to stop for the evening because I think they go to a break. Yes, they do. Okay, so we have finished up with Kyle here, and of course, I'm sure all of our thoughts and prayers are with Kyle and his family. My God, this story is awful. You guys, thanks for hanging in there with me tonight throughout all the chair breaking and the God, there was just and the wardrobe malfunctions and there's just been a lot going on tonight, hasn't there? A lot of, and the boomerang of the microphone. But you know, and finding playing the fun game of what's in my desk. And we now know that I have nail clippers of every size. Nail clippers everywhere. And not a screwdriver anywhere near. All right, so here's the plan going for. Oh no, I have the hiccups. Hold, please. Okay. Here's what's next. We will come back to do part 3 next time I'm available to stream. I don't know when that's going to be. I'm going to hope to do something tomorrow after I have football and baseball, and then I work a shift. And so maybe tomorrow night, if I'm not super tired. And then Sunday, I think I have all morning available. So we'll try and get caught up on this so that by Tuesday, when court's back in session, we can go again. Oh no, I'm all getting stuffed up. Okay, it's time for me to go to bed. It's time. Thank you so much for showing up. Like and subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on meganfox.locals.com, which is the only way you're going to get notifications. You can follow me for free there. You don't have to sign up unless you want to. And when you do sign up, it's a lot of fun over there. I have Tales from the Restaurant coming. I have a great series going on that's a Locals exclusive. My Tales from the Restaurant are hilarious, and I'm sure that you want to hear them. And if you do, you got to sign up on Locals. My Locals promo code is AJLT for a monthly discount. You get a free month on me. It is use Squats as a discount for a yearly membership where you'll get 2 months for free. And I would love to see you over there. But even if you can just follow me there for free, you'll get all the notifications that YouTube refuses to give you because, repeat after me, YouTube is asshole.
Lost, my world is near its end. I almost felt my head is full of a million choices. I am alive, I'm not here to pretend. I love my friends, my heart is filled with a million voices. Oh, this road has many choices. Oh, in my heart, million voices. Come next to me, my friend, embrace the sky. I'm not afraid to fly. It's not the time to say goodbye. I don't wanna say goodbye. No, I don't wanna say. No, I don't wanna say goodbye. No, I don't wanna say goodbye. This time I know my road is near its end. I almost felt my head is full of a million choices. I am alive, I'm not here to pretend. I love my friends, my heart is filled with a million voices. Oh, this road has many choices. In my heart, million voices. Come next to me, my friend, embrace the sky. I'm not afraid to fly. It's not the time to say goodbye. I don't wanna say goodbye. No, I don't wanna say. No, I don't wanna say goodbye.
So I take it that
Johnny's
you've
problem
seen
is he
Tamara
should
and
come
Johnny's
storming in there with
Yeah.
a string of
Do you
garlic
recall when
and
we
some
went
holy
into
water.
Mr.
And a
Judson's
cross,
first
a crucifix
bedroom?
one.
May the
Do you
power of
recall,
Christ
or no,
compel you.
No, I don't.
You
So
realized his house
Tamara,
was infested with
just up for
succubuses.
that,
And
there's a video you're looking of what it, yes. Do you recall what that was there
Succuloaders.
when you arrived in the afternoon? I don't remember seeing it now. So while baby,
No wonder he said drown her before you burn her.